Today we're going to be doing a full features guide and overview of the iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus. Hey guys, what's up? It's Alec from AppFind here, and today I'm going to be showing you a full features guide and overview of the iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus. As you probably already know, Apple just announced both of these devices at their September 9th conference, and these look amazing. We're going to be going over all of the specs, details, and features of both of these devices here on this video today. Now, be sure to subscribe to AppFind because we are your source for all the latest iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus news, reviews, and content. We're going to be coming out with a lot of videos as the information and the phones come out, so be sure to subscribe and stay tuned. All right, without further ado, let's take a look at some of the iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus features. All right, so as you can see here, this is the iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus being announced at the Apple conference on September 9th. If we take a look at this next picture, you can see that the iPhone 6 is 4.7 inches, which is already 0.7 inches larger than the previous iPhone 5 and 5S. And if you take a look to the right, we've got the device that you guys have all been waiting for. We've been trying to figure out what the name was going to be, but it is going to be called the iPhone 6 Plus, and that is going to be 5.5 inches. So as you can see, it's much bigger than the iPhone 6 and really bigger than the previous iPhone 5 and iPhone 5S at only 4 inches. So as you can see, they really have expanded the size of the iPhone, but actually they made them thinner, so we'll show you that in just a second. But they definitely expanded the screen size to help match some of the competition in the market, which has been already expanding some of the screen size, getting a little bit bigger than the phones used to be, the Apple iPhones used to be. But now the iPhone is coming out with great, high quality, big products, and now all those people who might have switched to Android because they had a bigger screen size will hopefully come back over to Apple for the 5.5 inch display. Now, if you look here, you'll be able to see what all of the different inches are for the previous, 5S, 6, and 6 Plus right here on the screen. This is kind of just what we were just talking about, but this gives you a little bit more visual experience of what it is. Now, with the 4.7, you'll probably be able to use your thumb across the whole screen as long as you have probably adult-sized hands. But if you look at the 5.5, you may have to use two hands because it's not necessarily going to be able to reach your thumb from the bottom left corner all the way to the top right corner like you can with the 4-inch easily, and you probably can depending on your hand size with the 4.7 inch. Now if we go into the next picture here, as you can see, these are the different pixel aspect ratios for the different devices. So as you can see the aspect ratio for the iPhone 5S, the iPhone 6, and then the iPhone 6 Plus. And as you can see, it expands with every single device. So that's a little more tech specs for you guys if that's what you were interested in. So if you take a look at the next page here, you can see a little bit more in depth about the resolution of the iPhone 6 versus the iPhone 6 Plus. So the iPhone 6, the 4.7 inch Retina HD display. So that's a little bit different than the Retina display. That's the Retina HD display, which they just announced is going to be having obviously the higher resolution, as you can see here. So you can just read the resolutions off of the screen, but basically, obviously, as you can see, it scales. They're not going to be putting the same resolution on the 5.5 as they did on the 4.7 because they're able to put in a higher resolution screen, as you can see there. So if we go to the next picture, you can see a little bit of what the iPhone looks like from the back side, kind of at an angle. As you can see, it's very thin, but it kind of tapers off around the sides and makes a nice smooth transition instead of the hard transitions we used to have with the previous iPhone models. Now, if you look at the next slide here, you can see a little bit more in depth about how the screen is all put together, all the different components that go into it. And then the next picture here will show you guys a little bit more on the resolution, show you kind of an angled shot at a picture that you can be able to look at on the iPhone screen. As you can see, you've got the nice volume rocker buttons, and those are a little bit more of a rounded bevel instead of just the straight kind of up and down feel. And everything's a little bit more rounded with the iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus, which I think is a great feature. It's going to really unify the experience as to what we saw between the 6 and the 6 Plus. And instead of having those hard edges, you're going to have those rounded edges. But that does mean the case manufacturers are going to have to work double time to try and make sure that they map it to the same rounded features that the iPhone has. So if you look at this photo here, this is just another photo comparing the two different sizes of device. As you can see, they're not that much different in terms of how thin they are, as you probably would have guessed already, and we're going to go to in just a second. The iPhone 6 is a little bit thinner than the iPhone 6 Plus. So we go to this next slide here. You can just see you holding both of the phones, somebody holding the both of the phones here. And as you can see, we've got one of the white models and the black model, obviously the 6 and then the 6 Plus. Now right here, you'll be able to see just a little bit of the phone, the top of the phone with the volume rockers, another angle. I'm just trying to get all these angles in so you guys can see a little bit more of what the phone looks like. If you didn't already watch the keynote, I would recommend going and checking out the keynote, but if you didn't have time, that's why you're watching this video, just showing you some of these angles here as well. So here we go. We just got to the thickness. As you can see, it's going to be 6.9 millimeters for the iPhone 6 and 7.1 millimeters for the iPhone 6 Plus. So it's only going to be 0.2 millimeters thicker between the iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus. But if we take a look at this next screen here, as you can see, the iPhone 5S was even thicker than both of them at 7.6 millimeters. So we actually dropped down not only for the iPhone 6, but also for the iPhone 6 Plus. So we dropped down 0.7 millimeters for the iPhone 6 and then 0.5 millimeters for the iPhone 6 Plus. Now, if you take a look at this next screen here, as you can see, not only is it a bigger screen in the iPhone 6 Plus, but we're actually going to be able to utilize that screen to add a lot more cool features. And the feature we're showing you here is the ability to have the pictures next to all the names in your Messages app. So it's not just going to be a larger screen, everything's zoomed. Some of these apps, especially Apple stock apps, are going to have all of these additional features just thrown in here that are going to work with the iPhone 6 Plus and not make it feel like it's just a zoomed in, a bigger screen, but feel like it's a bigger screen with more features and functionality. Now, if you look at the next photo here, as you can see, you're able to put the iPhone 6 Plus in landscape mode. Now, this is only available for the iPhone 6 Plus, not the iPhone 6, even though the iPhone 6 is still bigger than previous iterations. But the iPhone 6 Plus will allow you to turn it into landscape mode. But it's not only landscape modes for apps, it's also, or the homepage to show off the apps, it's also landscape mode within the apps themselves. So as you can see here, this is the weather app in landscape mode, and they're going to be able to integrate this into all of the different stock applications. Now, obviously, a lot of other applications allow for landscape mode in third-party apps, but this is in Apple-developed apps allow for landscape mode now with the iPhone 6 Plus. So now if you take a look at the next photo we have here, we have the ability to take a look at our email client within the iPhone 6 Plus. And as you can see on the left side, you can view all the different emails that you have, unread emails and all that stuff. Click right on it, and then on the right side, it'll show up with that email, which is a great feature. The same kind of thing we've been seeing with the iPads is now coming to the iPhone 6 Plus, which is really cool. That's what we wanted to see from the larger iteration of the iPhone model. Now, if you look at the next screen here, as you can see, this is the CNN app, and this is just showing how it can optimize for the iPhone 6 Plus screen. It's just an example of a third-party app really optimizing for it. Now, the next screen that we have here, as you can see, this is one of the games that they showed, or the game that they showed off at the keynote. They always like to show off one game or another, which obviously will keep you in depth in all the different information on this game as it comes out right here on AppFind. But anyways, if you take a look at the bottom, we've got 64-bit architecture, an A8 chip, and an M8 motion coprocessor. So as you can see, they've upgraded the chips and coprocessors in the iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus to add for better gaming, better connectivity, all that stuff. It really all just built into the device. Now, the next screen here, as you can see, up to 50 times faster than the original iPhone. So that they kind of use the those words. It's not than the iPhone 5S, than the original iPhone. But still, 50 times faster is a lot. But if you look over here, you can see from the 5S to the 6, it's not as big a leap as from the 5 to the 5S, but it's still a pretty big leap. Comparatively, and the fact that we're able to get faster and faster and faster is pretty awesome. So if you look at the next slide here, as you can see, it's up to 84 times faster in terms of all of the graphics processing. Sorry about that, graphics processing. So as you can see, if you look at the bottom here, and the iPhone, 3G, 3GS going all the way up, starting to ramp up. But this is, unlike, the previous one, which is the processing power, this is a really big leap from the 5S to the 6 to make it 84 times faster than the original iPhone in terms of the graphics processing. So now if you look at this next slide here, as you can see, it just shows off some of the really cool features we were just talking about with the design, the HD features, the functionality, of it being the Retina Display HD, not just Retina Display, the A8 chip, and then all the different components that they're talking about, the 1080p HD video, iOS 8, all built right in. So the M8 next generation motion processor will be built into the iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus. So this is going to allow for better motion processing in both devices. And as you know, iOS 8 will also be built right in. So that's going to include all the really cool iOS 8 features. As you guys may or may not know, iOS 8 is going to be coming out next Wednesday, which is going to be the 17th. Yep, the 17th. And that's when they're going to be releasing iOS 8 to the public. And then 2 days later, the 19th, is when the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus are going on sale. So if you take a look at this next slide here, as you can see, this is what iOS 8 will be compatible with. I just want to throw this in here so that you guys know that you don't necessarily have to buy the new iPhone 6 or 6 Plus to upgrade to iOS 8. You just have to be iPhone 4S or higher. Also works with the 5C as well. And then iPad 2 or higher, or the iPad mini iterations. So if you take a look here, we have some of the fitness components that are built right into iOS 8. Now, the reason I'm showing you guys this in here is because they did talk about this at the conference. Now, these are not specific to the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus only. These are available in iOS 8, which means they'll be available across the devices as long as you can upgrade. So they do have a lot of really great health and fitness options built right into the phone. And as you can see here, they also have the ability to send voice messages and not just regular text messages. You send voice messages and map messages as well. And the other cool thing is when you're typing, it will guess the word that you want to type. And instead of it being, up top in a little bubble or something like that, you hit space to fill it in, really awkward. It's just right above the keyboard, so you can easily just press it. Another great feature available in iOS 8 across all iOS 8 devices. The next thing that we have here, which was also in iOS 8, is going to be the improved notification center with all the different widgets. And that's mainly it for the different components that they talked about that has iOS 8 components in it for the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. If you want to learn more about iOS 8 before it comes out, check out my features guide and overview video for that as well. All right, so we're going to take a quick break to thank our sponsors. All right, but we'll be right back with all the additional iPhone 6 and 6 Plus features. So watch that, commercial. Let me know what you think about in the comment section below as well so far about the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus, and we'll be right back after the break. This video is brought to you by AppNana, the cool app that lets you get paid apps, iTunes gift cards, and more absolutely free. Go to appnana.com/appfind in your mobile browser to get started. Now what you're going to do is just log in and create an account. From there, you'll receive 10,000 nanas for using our unique URL. You can use points to get all of these cool apps, Amazon gift cards, iTunes gift cards, PayPal Cash, and a lot more. There's a lot of great rewards all available on AppNana. Now, the way to get more points is just to download regular apps that are absolutely free. Once you download the apps like Hotels.com, you'll be rewarded with free points. We just got 3,900 points just for downloading Hotels.com. For even more points, use my referral code A445859. Use that exact referral code to get you 2,500 more nanas. You can use nanas for all of these amazing apps, so what are you waiting for? Sign up today. Also, click here to watch the full AppNana tutorial. All right, let's take a look at the camera. It's going to be an 8 megapixel iSight camera with True Tone flash and a 2.2 aperture. So as you can see here, this is just a picture of what the camera is going to look like. Take a look at this next screen here. As you can see, you can shoot 1080p HD videos at 60 frames per second and 240 frames per second slow-mo at 720p. So as you can see, they keep upgrading the camera, making it better and better with the iPhone 6 model. They've done that as well. So as you can see here, they have improved facial recognition to be able to make sure, that they focus on all the different people's faces in a photo. And if you go to the next slide here, as you can see, they have the burst photos where they're able to choose, which photo is the best, which one were you not blinking in, etc., etc., trying to find the best photo as well. And the next slide here is time-lapse. Now, I'm really excited about the time-lapse functionality. Basically, you're going to be able to point and shoot, and it's going to shoot a time-lapse video. Now, something I didn't actually have a picture for, but is going to be incorporated right into the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus, is the ability for the camera to auto-stabilize if you're shooting video footage. And what that's going to do is the camera's just going to move around just slightly just to try and stabilize the video. Now, it's not going to stabilize super shaky hands, but a little bit of shaky video is going to try and stabilize it the best it can, and same with pictures, it's going to try and get the best picture possible. Alright, so as you can see with this next slide here, you're going to get up to 20 LTE bands, and you're going to be able to talk over LTE. And there's also the ability to have up to 150 megabytes per second download speed. Wow, that's a lot. A lot of megabytes, and that's going to be a really, really, really fast download speed for the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. Now we take a look at this next photo here. It's just going to talk a little bit more about how Apple is caring for the environment with their iPhone. You can read that over yourself if you'd like. Now the next page that we have here is a little bit more on the battery life. Now what they've done is they've gone and taken the iPhone 6 Plus and thrown in a larger and better battery to be able to provide longer audio, video, Wi-Fi browsing, LTE browsing, 3G browsing, 3G talk, and standby time for the iPhone 6 Plus. However, they've also increased the battery life from the iPhone 5S to the iPhone 6. Now, when you get into the video, Wi-Fi browsing, LTE browsing, the times actually isn't that much added on, not as much as I would have personally liked to see, because as we all know, as these devices get older and older, the time that they have for browsing and talking and all that stuff gets smaller and smaller. But it does add an hour to LTE browsing, or Wi-Fi browsing, and another hour for the iPhone 6 Plus. LTE browsing, it adds 2 hours for the iPhone 6 Plus. And it's interesting to see all of the progression with the battery life, but I'm really, really hoping that in the future Apple just makes a huge leap and creates very long-lasting batteries, even more powerful than these. So you take a look at the next slide here, we have Apple Pay. Apple Pay is something that's been rumored for a while now, and they're finally going to be rolling out, but not until October. This is a feature that's not going to be fully rolled out until October, and it's only going to be available with the iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus. This is not something that's just built into iOS 8. This is device specific because they have special chips that allow them to purchase and do all those different transactions. So it's going to be one-touch checkout. No card number entry, no need to type address, and no card information shared with the merchant. So it's going to be very safe. It's going to be Apple Pay built right in, and it's going to link with the Touch ID. So you can use the Touch ID to verify the purchase. So somebody can't just grab your phone if they're logged in, you're letting them play an app or something like that and go purchase something. Nope, they need Touch ID in order to activate this. So as you can see here, you can be able to purchase different things online with Touch ID. So that's a really cool, feature. Basically, it's pay with Touch ID, but it's using the Apple Pay functionality. So as you can see, this is what you'll be able to do. You can look it up on different stores online, not just in retail stores. But for going into retail stores, you can store all of your credit cards, gift cards, etc. right here on the device, and this is going to be limiting the need to bring wallets and cash around, because you're going to be able to have it all stored right on your device. So as you can see, you're able just to take a quick picture of your card, and then it's going to automatically put that in for you. Obviously, you'll probably have to put in the security code and all that stuff, but it'll let you take a picture of the card to input it instead of having to manually type it. That saves you a little bit of time, and it's a cool feature. So if you look here, as you can see, you can use a card on file with iTunes, or use a different credit or debit card. So you can use multiple cards for the Apple Pay functionality. And as you can see here, it is pay with Touch ID. So you have to use your Touch ID in order to purchase the different things with the credit card. So the really cool feature about this is the availability for you to go in, log in online or on a different device. If your iPhone gets stolen, you're worried about the card details being on there, you can wipe the card details with the push of a button on a different device using Find My iPhone settings. It's just another great feature. I am a big fan of Find My iPhone. It's the #1 thing I recommend people download. I really think it should have been automatically downloaded on all devices. But if you want all that protection and stuff, definitely download that app, and it's going to give you even the protection to protect you against people trying and taking your phone for your credit and debit cards. So this is going to work with American Express, MasterCard, and Visa, and it's going to work at all these different banks. And all of these different stores have already accepted them as payment services, which is really cool. And as you can see here, is just another picture of what it's going to look like. And then here we have the a picture of a mock-up of what it's going to look like to pay with it. As you can see, you got the little phone scanner. It's going to scan the microchip within the phone, and you just pay with your Touch ID, and boom, you're done, which is really cool. Now, if you look at the next slide here, we do have new cases for the iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus. You've got your leather and your standard kind of rubbery silicone style material that you can get for the two different cases. And let's get right into pricing. So the iPhone 6 is going to be available at 16 gigabytes, 64 gigabytes, and now 128 gigabytes. So I found it kind of interesting that they cut out 32 and kept 16. But I guess that's a way of pushing the higher gigabyte models. I'd recommend not getting 16 because that doesn't add that much space unless you're really only going to be using it for music. But if you're a fan of AppFind, odds are you like apps as well, so you're probably going to want the 64 128 gigabyte model. So it's going to run you $199 for 16, $299 for 64, and $399 for 128. These are all subsidized with plans, so bear in mind the full price is going to be a little bit higher if you are not currently up on your expired contract and you can renew a different contract. So for the iPhone 6 Plus, it's going to be the same gigabyte models, $299, then $399, and then $499 for the largest 128 gigabyte model. So those are pretty fair prices compared to previous years with all the different iPhone and stuff. Throw in Apple Care there, and really the most expensive you're going to get if it's subsidized with a plan is the $600. So $600, that's still pretty expensive, but for the latest Apple device, it seems like a pretty good price to me, especially for being able to get 128 gigabytes with all these really cool features, larger screen, etc. So as you can see here, here's the new pricing for everything. iPhone 5C is free, 8 gigabytes. The iPhone 5S starts at $99, 6 $199, and 6 Plus $299. So you can pre-order this September 12th. Which is going to be coming up very shortly now. And you can purchase them on September 19th, 2014 if you're in one of these places here. And that's where you can get it at the store, or that's when you'll get it if you ordered it. It'll ship in the box and it'll come to you. So those are all the different components of the iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus. Hope you guys like this video. If you learned something today, hit that subscribe button. We're going to be coming out with all the latest iPhone 6 videos as it comes out. We're going to be reviewing the iPhone 6 Plus, possibly the iPhone 6. I still got to get all that worked out, but definitely we're going to take a look at the iPhone 6 Plus. We're going to be taking a look at all the different apps and games that you can get for it, and it's going to be a little bit different this year. I'm going to be taking a little bit longer time producing the videos because I want to make a high quality content for you guys, so don't be alarmed if it doesn't come out at 9 o'clock in the morning after they open immediately, but it will be coming out staggered throughout the weekend of the iPhone release, and throughout that next week there's going to be a lot of great iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus content. It really means a lot to me if you subscribe, and leave a comment in the comment section below. How excited are you? Are you going to buy an iPhone 6 or an iPhone 6 Plus? And be sure to share this video with your friends so they can get a little bit more knowledge about both of these great devices. Once again, I'm Howard from AppFind. I will see you guys next time. Bye.